Behind the Walls by Security Vision. Security and more. A whole lot more.
Welcome to our next episode, Behind the Walls. It's Security Vision. The name says one thing, but it's a whole lot more. Michele Weissman, we could say founder.
Yeah.
Founder / owner / chief operator / bottle washer.
All the hats.
All of the hats. You stay very busy, but you do a lot of commercial work. And so for people that are in business, big business, small business, types of business, what do you do? And maybe start with, here are some of the businesses, maybe not specifically, unless you want to say, but what types of businesses?
So, it's funny, when I started my company, we started as
X amount of years ago?
Yeah, X amount of years ago, yeah.
Someday I'll find out, when did you play basketball? Then I can figure some of that out.
I played 90 through 94.
Were you there when the Olympic team played? The Atlanta Olympic team?
No, I don't remember that. But we made it to the big dance twice.
Oh, that was 96.
Yeah. In my first year, we played against Indiana and almost won, so that's kind of exciting. And then
The women's?
No.
Oh, the men's. I remember that. What was his name? Tony?
Yeah, Tony Duncan.
Tony Duncan was amazing.
Dunking our way to the NCAA, yeah.
Yeah. Yes. And that was in the old gym.
Yes, it was.
And it was maybe not even a great high school gym.
No, it was not. My high school gym was better.
Yes.
Yeah.
Anyway, commercial.
Commercial, yes.
What types of businesses is kind of common for you?
The common, of course, there's a lot of small business here. So it could be anywhere from 2 doors and a motion that we're helping protect a small business for just the basic security to, of course, now most people are having cameras, so that's just into the mix of video verification of what's
Who's
going
coming
on.
in.
And, yeah.
Why is somebody banging on my door?
Yeah. And then, but not even, we have some retail stores that they utilize cameras where we can use the analytics and they can help keep an eye on not only what's going on, but what areas are busy based on the analytics. And so what products are selling and where are people migrating longer so that they can help increase their business based on what our cameras can tell them.
In other words, the T-shirt section is always busy.
Yeah.
The shoe section is not.
Correct. So what do they need to change about it, or what part of the store do they need to put it so maybe people will see it?
Huh. Okay.
Yeah. So very interesting. It can people count. It can tell you how many people came in and out of their store every day. So there's a lot more things
and time
to cameras
of the
that
day.
do. Yeah, absolutely. So, our typical, of course, that's what we start with, is your security and your cameras. But,
and you're going through the business, working with them on how many cameras, what are the proper points. You're not leaving any, I go into banks nowadays and there's a camera at each teller station as opposed to one for the whole area.
Yeah. And,
do you do like financial institutions?
We've done a few.
Okay.
It's not our specialty. They usually have their own corporate that they use, but we have definitely done a few and have helped. What we do a lot in the design, of course, with every product that we sell, there's always a good, better, best. So we try to work with our client and not just sell them something they don't need, but try to design a system that they can afford. What can they get started, but give them the product that's going to give them the need. You don't want to sell them a camera and then something happens and then they're like, okay, well, I see it's somebody, but I can't tell who it is. So, we want to make sure we're giving a quality product for the end result, not just to, throw something in there.
Right.
But we also do, sound. So, there's a lot of businesses that, need some music in their business and or TVs, and we do the wiring for the network for their computers and phones and things like that. So
back up to sound a little bit because I have a little familiarity with that. There's some licensing issues. You can't just play stuff in your business.
This is true.
How do you help them get that set up?
So, depending on how they're doing it or what kind of businesses and that they're doing it, of course, you have to let them know with commercial it is different. You can't just do the simple personal Pandora or whatnot. You have to buy the licensed version.
The business
or
version.
Or there is the business, version of players that you can purchase to use.
And you're able to help them.
We are able to help them with that, yes.
Right. It used to be, not so much now, but I used to be, having been in radio, a couple times a year I did get a call from a business. And sometimes it was just a small attorney's office that said, some guy from this BMI came in and told me I have to pay them, because I'm playing your radio station. I says, well, he's correct.
He's correct.
We're paying fees, but not for you to play in your business. And people don't understand that. And I think it's important. And that's why you work with somebody like you to say, look, let's do this correctly.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So talk about some of the other things you're doing for businesses.
So we do, of course, all kinds of businesses. So we do a lot of fire alarm work. So whether that be, apartment buildings, condos, clubhouses, restaurants, we do more of that small to mid-range. We have a few hotels out there, but our specialty is more that mid-range. We do...
But talk about a restaurant, for example. There's lots of them here.
Yeah.
What sorts of things do they need? And if you're in the restaurant business that maybe you're not aware of, but talk about the things you do for restaurants.
So restaurants, we can help a lot. So we do, of course, we start with the security and we help them with the cameras and we wire to make sure they have their network jocks for their POS systems and things like that in the right places. But then we go to the next level and we provide the sound and the TVs. It may be a sports bar and the ease of use of being able to flip from this sport to this sport. Instead of separate remotes for every TV, we can make it very simple.
I've never seen that. And people are running around. I don't know where that remote is. Exactly. And when you say, you're actually able to say, we're going to give you all the TVs. We're going to put all this together.
Yeah, we provide it. We install them. We help set up the system. We program it for them. We can amplify the, certain TVs to play through the speakers, whether it be inside. Maybe they want a different game or something promoting for the outside. We can do those in sections and zones and control the volume in different areas.
And even the basic, I can put speakers throughout for all of your music or whatever it may be.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we've recently, the last few years, we've expanded more into the outdoor living as well. So now we're also being able to help our, especially the restaurants who want to keep people in the seats in the outdoor area longer. So when it's hot out, we can provide our outdoor cooling systems and misters to provide the coolingness to make it more comfortable. We can provide the motorized screens to protect them from the sun when we need to provide that shade.
Yeah, I see that in a lot of restaurants.
Yeah, we do a lot of that. And maybe somebody has a patio that doesn't have it covered. We can provide and install outdoor pergolas to create that covered outdoor space, and it has the motorized louvers. So maybe there are certain times of year they want to bring in the sun and keep it warmer, and then it's hot, they want to close them, or if it's raining. So we can provide this more year-round space. And we can provide the screens, whether it be the regular insect screens, solar screens, and even hurricane screens to protect what they have within those patios and porches and
Bring
areas.
the screens down during a storm and
Absolutely.
Keep the chairs from...
Yep, we can do the hurricane screens that protects a Hurricane 5 level hurricane.
I'm looking at some notes here because you also get involved, I guess in restaurants it would be important whether flooding, water damages, you're able to
absolutely
protect.
We've got sensors that can also protect that, and also for their coolers and freezers, because the last thing a restaurant wants to know is a freezer stopped working in the middle of the night, and next thing you know, you get in the next day and a bunch of stuff stalled out, or the cooler that it went off. So we can monitor that. We can monitor whether there's
so it's a temperature monitor. The owner will get an alarm that says your temperature is
above or below a certain temperature.
Yeah, we used to do that, and we still do in radio. Transmitter sites have to stay cool, and there's software that will say, hey, it's now 85 degrees. That's not good.
Yes, absolutely. So we can help monitor that.
They haven't figured out a way to fix it, though, remotely. You still have to get somebody out there.
That is true.
Or I'm guessing, though, you might be able to say, well, turn on the backup, whatever. You don't do generators.
We can.
Okay.
We do.
So let me rephrase that. What about generators? Or you can help coordinate.
We sell the Kohler brand of generators.
Oh, that's a great name.
We would just need to coordinate with either our builder or bring an electrician to help, pipe in the gas and, the electrical work. But
I have learned, you and I both know some electricians that are really good, and you can't just plug in a generator. Got to have it separate, and the panels and the back feeding and all of that. That can get a little dangerous, but you coordinate all of that.
Absolutely. We help that whole turnkey service.
Security in businesses, things like gates and locks and automation systems. Businesses sometimes have far more sophisticated systems. Tell me about what you're able to do with that.
So absolutely. So whether it's a business building that they need to control access into their doors, we can provide the access control. They give their employees credentials, whether that be a fob or a card. And then we're able to help track who comes and goes at certain times. It can integrate with the cameras as well, so it can tie in the video footage and the credentials to make sure it's the right person. Whether it be it could be a community in a clubhouse or a pool. We do the gates, so you're controlling your gate control systems for your gated communities and the telephone entry, and then of course have the cameras, because most people who put in gates, now somebody's going to hit their gate, so now we need a camera
who hit the gate,
to protect the gate,
who's responsible,
and then it all ties back into the same system that would be in the clubhouse in the community, and they want to be able to control access to the gym or maybe the amenity center or to the pool gates, and we can help manage that and put everything together so it's all on one system.
Now, when power goes out, how does this impact things, and what are you able to do to mitigate that?
So, of course, both say everything that we do will have some certain battery backup that we have with it. And then from that point, of course, everything is usually programmed to a fail-safe. You're not going to lock somebody into something, always in a security realm, we typically would wire it as a fail-safe.
No power, the system now.
Yeah, so if you're in an area and then the battery backup fails or, runs out of time, whatnot, a hurricane is coming and we're out of power for 3 days. But in that case, again, we always educate our customer. You may have this door that's typically on a magnetic lock, and it's controlling this lock. But if you're evacuating for 3 days, go ahead and use your actual key and also do a deadbolt lock to make sure it stays locked.
Oh, right. I hadn't thought about that. Because the magnet will no longer work.
The magnet will no longer work.
And everybody has access.
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah. But again, it's just part of education of what we do and make sure that people are always safe.
Types of businesses that you really kind of find your sweet spot?
Again, we are that small to mid-range kind of sweet spot. So restaurants and, your small businesses, we can help put in some, like I said, very basic systems to help them try to grow and increase their business on the products that we can help do.
Lots and lots of restaurants. I'm thinking restaurants.
Yeah.
At nighttime, outdoor lighting for them, we've talked in the past about home outdoor lighting, but outdoor lighting for businesses and restaurants, that's got to be a pretty important thing.
It is.
Especially in a town that sometimes plays late.
Yeah. And, with some of our restaurants, you at certain times of night, if you're probably eating in a restaurant and the lights dim, we can help do the lighting control and thermostat control as well. So if they're kind of controlling the temperature in the area, so they want to maintain a certain temperature in the certain areas of the restaurants, we can help with that. And as I mentioned, with our heating and cooling systems for the outside, we can also help with that. So whether we need to add heaters or we add our misters or we add the combination unit, it could be a cooler in the summertime, and in the wintertime we can activate the heat and we can expand that comfortable temperatures both outside as well.
So back in the 90s or the early 2000s, did you have any idea where this was going?
I did not.
I don't think any of us really did, but you were in the security business.
I was. I've been in the security industry, to age myself, since 1995.
Yeah.
I started my company in 2004. And a lot has changed since then. And you being a woman-owned business, it took me a little while for people sometimes to be like, "What? You're the owner?" But I like to feel I give the personal touch.
Well, I hope
because
I hope we're past that.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
Yeah.
Still. So one last question: what's coming that is going to really surprise us, or what are you excited about that is coming soon?
Well, let's see. Everybody talks about the AI, and it is in a lot of what we do. And I think there's a lot of things where the possibility, could be endless. What we do is fun. The technology always changes. We're always adapting.
Right.
I'm always learning. And I always like to test things before I'm just going to throw it out there,
sure. Right.
To somebody else. So I might not be the first one to bring it, because I want to make sure if I'm putting it in a customer's place, it's going to work. But there's so much excitement with what's coming on in the future, and the technology of how things just get better and better. It's just amazing.
So businesses, whether it's security, lighting, sound, video, fire alarm. The website again, that's where we get started.
That's where we get started. Check us out at securityvisionmb.com, and that's securityvisionmb for Myrtle Beach.com.
We are behind the walls, and it is magic. Michele, thank you. More to come.
Thank you.